5:30, are we ready? (5:30) having arrived, please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. O'Neill isn't here yet, so let's review the outstanding minutes.
I would move the minutes of 12/17/18 as presented.
Second.
Second by Fred. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Start with this. We have a payroll manifest of $60,457.37 with a net payroll of $46,838.28.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Andy, second by Fred. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Pass them down. Excuse me. We have accounts payable this week of $66,739.87.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Andy, second by Fred. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
That's a big one. We have an additional payable manifest with $1 million going to the school of $1,048,467.97.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Andy, second by Fred. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Got that done. When do you want to bring, when you, okay. We have a timber tax levy from Mark and Pamela Lamontagne at 33 Haynes Road for $35.03.
I would make a motion that we levy the timber tax against the Lamontaines.
Second.
Second by Jeff, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous?
About 5 months ago.
Been a while.
Took down our giant red spruce and red pine.
We have a veteran's tax credit of $500 for Kyle Crawford at 55 Stage Road, map 423-75.
You need a motion for that?
Yep, I would make a motion that we grant the veterans tax credit.
Second.
Second by Cindy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. I think that's it. We have a refund request from John McGowan, 21 Parade Road, Deerfield. Taxpayer overpaid their taxes in error and is seeking a refund. It's my recommendation that we do this, and it's a total of $1,900.
I would make a motion that we refund the $1,900 as requested.
Second.
Second by Jeff, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Right. We have an agreement here for independent contractor agreement for Sanders Searches LLC, which is for title searching, with a projected contract amount of $780. This is who we used last year.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we authorize the chair to sign the contract.
Second.
Second by Jeff, all in favor?
Aye.
Looks like
Maybe we all have to sign it.
we're all signing it.
Oh, I'd authorize the rest of you too.
Stickies.
Thank you, Andrew. We have a personnel action request, we actually have 3, for Liam Riley, Parks and Recreation, staff supervisor, to go from 10:44 to 11:54.
I would make a motion that we approve the personnel action request.
Second.
Second by Jeff, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you. We have another one for Kurt M. Torty, Transfer Station. Go from $15 to $16.63, which is down as a wage adjustment.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we authorize the personnel action request for Mr. Torty.
Second.
Second by Fred, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Says town manager, do you want to sign that, or do you want me to?
Where did we get those forms?
Oh, Pete printed that off of Unismart. I asked the
Oh,
question,
okay.
'cause the other ones are the ones I use.
Want me to read it? You want to read it?
Yeah, we've got a personnel action request, and this is based on our discussion at our last meeting with regard to the chief of police and adjusting his salary from $72,779 to an even $80,000 beginning January 1st, 2019. And we would need a motion to do
I'll
that.
make a motion to approve the salary adjustment for the chief.
Second.
Second by Cindy, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, unanimous. And we have one more for the municipal work zone agreement. Is that the curved signs?
Yes, there's 2 originals you need to sign. There's a letter at the very back, you can get some information to read it.
This is the New Hampshire DOT's new signage on
Curves.
curves on the highway.
Correct.
107 and 43.
Yeah.
And it's covering 107 and 40. The department will be responsible for management and operation of the highway throughout the duration of construction of the project. This includes the authority to determine the most appropriate way to control traffic within the construction work zone of the project. The department, as of April 1st, 2013, will only compensate for the use of police officers that have successfully completed the DOT-approved course on safe and effective use of law enforcement. So we need a motion to, I guess, have me sign that.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we authorize the chair to sign the work agreement for the New Hampshire DOT's re-signing of curves on Route 107 and 43 within the town boundaries.
Second.
Second by Jeff, well said. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Just to clarify that the department that statement you read about the department means DOT will take care of
Yes,
all that, not
Yeah.
our highway department.
no,
Right.
it's all
It's all
state,
inclusive
it's
of
all
DOT.
state project.
The
Number
chief is aware of
139.
the police chief is aware of this agreement as well as the road agent.
And the other thing under correspondence, Ernie Roberts, Parks and Recreation Board Member. Mr. Pittman, at this time, I need to inform you and other board members that I am submitting my resignation from my position as a Parks and Recreation Commission member effective 1/1/2019. I'm changing my focus regarding my service to the town, and in light of this, do not feel I can continue in my current role with the current Parks and Rec Department. I want to thank the Select Board for your trust and confidence in myself with the extraordinary experience this position has been for me. I have let it be known to the PR Commission members and Director Lawrence that I intend to continue my involvement with specific Parks and Rec activities on a different level and may be receptive to lending support as needed. Ernie Roberts, 8 Maple Ave.
Make a motion, we accept that resignation and with regret.
Second?
Made by Jeff, second by Andy, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. John, you're on.
In your packets, as well as you received an emailed version of a letter from Mr. Kelly concerning property map 405, lot 076, looking for a decision from the board for a particular payment plan to address his arrearages and taxes, and he lays it out in his letter. And I've included this on tonight's agenda to get a decision from the board as to how you would proceed. I will remind you that you did agree to accept a written agreement document for any payment plans last year. One is successfully in place and working properly. And at that, I will leave it in your hands to discuss and make a decision.
How is this different than what we agreed on?
$50 more.
There never was an agreement with this gentleman. It was presented to him. There were different aspects of the document that he didn't approve of and therefore never signed one. So he's been paying on his own without a formal agreement.
And I think the verbal agreement was $300 a month, right? I think that's what he refers to in his.
No, it was $250.
He's willing to commit to 300 now,
Yeah.
but is that
Okay,
barely
right.
covering the interest?
The interest per month, the last calculation was $222.56.
So do we have any projection as to how long it's going to take to pay this off?
Well, if the board wishes, the town clerk tax collector is here, maybe she could shed some light on that question.
The last page.
And you
gives
can
us-
read letter D on the first.
It has not indicated to me time
Go to the mic.
You mind, Kelly?
No.
Letter D, 100% of property taxes due to the town will be paid in full by either rewriting this debt into a home loan or incorporating it into a purchase and sale agreement. So there is no, I don't know why we want to bend from an established policy.
Okay. With the end of the year on us and the new year right around the corner, this is a time right now where we're all looking at our calendars and we're trying to project what 2019 is going to look like as far as leaning and deeding. I think that this is a nice gesture on his part to make good on the property where he owes property taxes. I do think it's too early at this point to enter into any formal agreement with him. I need to establish my leaning and deeding schedule for 2019, and I don't want you guys to commit to something too soon until we know what the calendar looks like.
Should we just give him a verbal to keep doing it until you
That's
do
what
your
I would
homework?
do,
I agree.
yeah.
What does anybody else, Andy?
Yeah, I think we could agree
Excuse me.
to this $300 amount verbally. I think we should also see if maybe he could give us a timeline for his project. He mentions that it's starting in 2 weeks, and he must have a fair idea. I mean, I don't expect it to the day or even the week, but whether he
Yeah.
intends to be done by March or July, or
Yeah,
if we could get that information, John, that would be.
Timeline on his project?
Yep.
Yes. Thank you, Kelly.
yeah.
Anything else on your report, Chief?
Other than I have notes here that the board, requesting the board look over projected revenues for 2019.
We can do
You
that
also
right
have-
now, if you like, since you
Okay.
brought it up. Does everybody have that in there?
Yeah, and
Go ahead, Andy.
yeah, I'd note that the 2018 projected on the revenue sheet we have are $14,698,153.71. I would also note that projected revenues are nothing more than projected revenues, and, you know, this will fluctuate over the course of the year, and it'll be what it'll be, irregardless of what we approve as a projection.
Right.
So are we okay to show this to the Budget Committee? Have you bring it?
Yep, I would, unless other members have questions or concerns.
No? Cindy? All good? Jeff? Good? Shows if all goes well, it'll be 10,000 down, so it's the right direction. Anything else, Sean?
You also have a copy of the most current working MBC budget with a bottom line. Depending on a review of encumbrance requests tonight, that number may change again. That is your decision. And then the fire chief would like some time with the board to also talk about a project.
I've got that down on the other business, if that's all right with you, Matt.
And that's all I have tonight.
Is everybody okay with what Andy's doing with the Budget Committee?
I'm just curious, looking quickly, the budget, NBC budget is higher than ours recommended is,
Yeah, and we reduced a couple of lines in there, and that may well change, depending on encumbrances.
The NBC budget is higher than yours that you
Yes.
presented.
I was just wondering what the changes were, what the difference, I don't know off the top.
Don't.
Okay.
They were reductions that we had made in the budget, and I'm assuming that the NBC is going to come down to our lower number. The only comment we've had about differentiation was from a former NBC member, Mr. Verville, came to a meeting and asked if we would consider putting at least $100,000 additional money into the highway fund for basically road reconstruction, road repair. He's one of several citizens that, you know, I've talked to that think we're getting behind with regard to maintenance of roads. And Kevin has proposed that for probably 3 or 4 years running as a budget committee member,
Yeah.
and just showed up at our first meeting to reiterate that, so.
Thank you. Everybody all good?
The other item in your packet was also the warrant articles.
Right, that's
Yep.
coming.
Okay.
Actually, that's next. The budget's all set. Does everybody have their,
Yeah.
just discuss that first one, which isn't finalized yet. Andy?
The only foreseeable change to this that I, am aware of would be Article 3, and I've gotten a hard and fast figure from Steve Keach as to site design and engineering figures for potential police department development. The total was slightly over $28,000, but that was soup to nuts for civil engineering, including working with the project managers through the end of the project. He had given me like a 5-tier breakdown of when those charges would kick in. So I haven't gotten the architectural estimate back from Kyle yet, but when we get that, our committee needs to meet, which will probably, I'll try to schedule a meeting for next week, so we can look at those numbers and determine what we want for preemptive money to look at it, but it's doubtful that we would need to budget the whole 28,000 for the first go-round here.
No,
So
I'm
we
saying
meet
no.
again on the 7th, so we'd have time.
Yeah, and as long as we leave the warrant article here, these numbers can be adjusted anytime through deliberative session, so.
Okay, definitely want it, Article 3 to stand then. Do we want to take a minute and do our recommendation for the others, 1 and 2? Or do you want to
Well,
wait for
we're
the
not-
7th?
We're not gonna have a final, for 1 and,
I didn't, we can't really on.
We don't have a final number for number 1 yet.
Right.
And so my recommendation is to wait on number 1 and 3, but the rest of the articles you could look at and vote on a recommendation.
I think we, for the most part, we have looked at these, and we had Matt come in and
Right.
go through them one by one with us. Like, apparently we didn't take a vote.
No. Just try that.
Well, in the interest of simplicity, I would move Articles 4 through 11 to be recommended by the Board of Selectmen.
2.
Okay, 2 through 11, to be recommended by the Board of Selectmen, and we can discuss.
Except for 3.
Well, I'm still gonna, I'm gonna,
Recommend it. For whatever it is.
I'm gonna recommend it, and then we'll amend the figure, but,
Okay, so
still
2
want it
through
there.
11 with 3 possibly being amended when the figures
Yep.
come in.
Oh, all right.
Is there a second on that?
I'll second it.
Second by Jeff. Any other discussion? I think we've done our homework.
Just to clarify too on, oh, never mind, I think it's out of here.
For the record, we need to vote yes so that the townspeople can vote yes or no.
Right.
Yeah, I'm good, never mind.
All in favor with 2 through 11, with 3 possibly amended?
Right. Aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. New business,
We doing encumbrances, or?
that's next.
Oh, okay.
That's after. Never mind. If no one has anything new, we'll jump right on to encumbrances.
Oh. Old business?
What's that?
Old business?
Yeah, we can do that now, Fred, or do it under other.
Oh, okay. I just wondering if anybody had an opportunity to take a look at the fireworks ordinance.
I did not.
Okay,
I have looked at it, but not,
Been a little
I
hectic.
didn't bring it back with me.
that's fine.
You all set with anything else, Fred? Or
Yeah, I'm all set.
2018 encumbrances. First one is $5,000 for half the town hall painting. Second one is coming out of GBW. The first one came out of government buildings, second one comes out of the town hall for $6,000. Third one is GBW, repairs and maintenance, seal stripe the parking lot and pave the new walkway out behind, rip up and put down a new one for $17,000. And on the cemeteries, bachelor gate repair, $3,300. Want to discuss each one, or how do you want to do it? Fred?
I'd like to add the planning and zoning, 5,000 for the capital improvement plan, which we have a contract with Southern Hampshire Planning Commission for that.
Okay. What's everybody's thoughts on that parking lot where we don't know how to drain? I know nothing can be done till spring, but it seems like an awful lot to, hopefully we don't have to rip up the parking lot where Mark found one break. Do we know, Matt, when that could be tested?
Possibly Monday. If not Monday, probably be either Tuesday or Thursday. Excuse me, Wednesday or Thursday.
So it could be before our 7th January 17th?
We'll make our next attempt before your next meeting.
Okay. Andy?
Yeah, I think we are safe going ahead and encumbering it and assuming that if we have to rip up the parking lot, we won't bother to spend $17,000 to seal it and paint it until we've got it put back in order where sealing and painting it would be appropriate.
Has anybody looked at the back walkway that needs to be,
Which walkway is it? The one at the end of the,
Over here?
This is a walkway that leads from the front parking lot down the back of the building where the kids unload every afternoon. This was also an item listed in the Joint Loss Committee recommendations to repair.
so do you know, John, is it a dig up and redo or just capping over,
I believe it's digging up, removing, and putting new pavement down.
cutting the grade?
That was in the estimate that we got.
So we've got time for, do some homework. That won't be before spring.
Right.
Any other discussion on the encumbrances?
what's the Bachelor Gate repair? Is that what kind of,
That is a request coming from the cemetery trustees. The Batchelder Cemetery gate is broken, and that is an estimate with a quote coming from a vendor to repair the gate.
so is it like a cast iron metal gate?
Yes, I
type of
believe
thing?
it is.
It's a metal gate set in stone, is my recollection, and I think they have to do some metal work and some stone work to get it.
And they won't be able to get to that until,
For
obviously,
the
next
record,
spring.
which street is that one on?
I can't remember which one Bachelor's on.
Well, we'll get the info.
This is the only bid on that one? We only have one quote?
That is just to get an idea of how much it would be. Once approved, then when the work comes up, we would get 3 quotes, and the board could decide which one.
But for now, you have one that would cover the 3,300.
Right.
Okay. Yes, Andy?
Yeah, I'm comfortable. If the cemetery commission feels this is important to do, I'm comfortable supporting them.
So we need to add, what was the figure, Fred, 5,000?
5,000, yeah.
So it'll be 36.3 on the total.
John, are we all set with, where we had such a wintry November and snowy spring with the road, salt and sand? Was any asked for that?
No. I mean, if the encumbrance are approved, and with estimated payroll, the balance left in the budget, as you can see, is an estimated $258,000. If we were to get any storms between now and the end of the budget, we have monies within the budget
Okay.
that could be realigned.
It'll actually be 253,
Right.
333 if we approve the.
And again, this is just an estimate. Depending on what accounts payable, there's still some outstanding bills coming through.
I thought encumbered money, we had to have invoices to do this. We had to have it in place to keep the money.
In checking with the auditors last year when I did encumbrances, solid quotes, they'll accept those as well.
You've got a quote and a line item, you're generally good.
That was a question I had too,
And then all,
last year.
you're giving us your word that all this will go out to bid before anything happens.
By our own purchasing policy, only things over $10,000 need a request for bid. Anything under $10,000 is 3 written quotes.
Correct, but like that town hall 5 and 6. it's just
That will
coming
go
from
out to
2.
bid,
Okay, good.
because that estimate was $11,000, so we will do a request for bid for that.
All right. The board's pleasure on this?
I'd make a motion that we approve the recommended 2018 encumbrances in the total amount of $36,300, and note that the individual items, with the exception of the addition for planning board, were read by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Now, I
Unanimous?
have encumbrance forms for the board to sign, less the planning board, because I wasn't prepared for that one, but I can have that for you the January 7th meeting.
Okay.
Can we sign it on January 7th, or do we need to sign it tomorrow or Monday?
I'm unsure.
Just thinking if we're encumbering it during this,
Be
this
safe,
year,
yeah.
we probably need to.
I can have it prepared and ready for tomorrow, if I can get 3 signatures.
Tomorrow and/or Monday, correct?
Correct. And who made the motion?
I did.
Andy, second by Jeff.
Yep.
Bachelor's in Southwood.
Before Matt goes, does anybody have any other new or old business? Go ahead, Matt.
So there's two things I'd like to talk to the board about this evening. The first one was alluded to earlier with the project I'd like to do at the firehouse. Started looking into adding offices upstairs. I obtained, spoke with 4 contractors. 3 were able to provide prices. The other one told me he wasn't going to have time for the project and didn't provide a price. So the 3 prices I obtained was from Rusty Truck Construction out of Deerfield, JSF Builders out of Epsom, and then Charlie Wheeler out of Deerfield as well. This basically would add 3 officers in a storage room upstairs at the firehouse, as well as replacing the 6 remaining windows that we've had downstairs for a number of years. The offices would be for the fire chief, the EMS officers, the fire officers, and then a storage closet to try to clean up some things upstairs in the meeting room.
Would this be in that open area of the upstairs?
So if you envision walking up the stairs,
Yes.
right on the left, there's the railing. So there'd be a wall, then straight down to the roadway, if you will, by the windows.
So with these in place, that'll still give you a big enough meeting room up there?
Yes, so my intention, so typically how it's set up, there's 3 tables across facing the kitchen. I'll just turn basically how the room's orientated towards the library, if you will, which would still give the room for the 3 rows of 3 tables.
So you don't have to have the stew downstairs then?
Correct. Except for the accessibility issue.
Right.
So my thought with this would be, spoke to John yesterday, whether or not we wanted to encumber the funds or take the funds out of this year's budget, if you will. The low price, Rusty Truck Construction did ask for half of the cost up front and then the other half upon completion. So we could write the checks now and just hold the checks till completed. However, you folks want to move
When
forward.
I inquired on it, he said that the funds were available without encumbering them?
Yes, we do have the money left over in the fire department budget to
And you
cover
were
that.
planning on doing this
I've
for at
been,
least 2 years?
since last spring, yes,
Yeah. But there's been talk about office space.
yes.
Board?
You said you had 3 quotes?
Yes.
Yeah, I got
The
two.
first one was $7,000, Rusty Truck Construction.
Yeah.
Then JSF Builders was just under $7,700, and Charlie Wheeler was the $8,350.
And the floor's been done or is being
Yep.
done as we
So,
speak?
Northern Oak Hardwood Floors came in and did basically the office area. So that way, those floors would get done and refinished before we built the walls and the offices on top of them, with later hopes of maybe the end of next year or something, looking at finishing the rest of the floors. But until we had a spot to put all the cabinets, tables, and everything that we have now, if we take that stuff, put it in the closet, in the offices, then at later date, we will be able to finish all the floors without having to find a home for everything that's up there now.
So are you looking for a motion for $7,000 to turn this loose?
That would be wonderful.
I'd make a motion for $7,000 and authorize the fire chief to move forward with the project as outlined.
Second, but I'll have some questions too.
Okay, made by Andy, second by Fred. Go ahead, and I've got what he's got here too, so.
These going to be open ceiling?
Yeah, the walls will be all the way to the existing ceiling, and then sheet rocking the ceiling that's there now. We do have a few of the checkerboard tiles, if you will, that are falling down in that area. So I'd like to get that kind of buttoned up and cleaned up. Spoke with another gentleman, kind of building on this project with regards to putting in some heating zones off the existing heating that's in the attics. That'll be done next year as this project progresses. I did reach out and get a price to have an electrician do the work. That was certainly more than I had anticipated, so I'll be volunteering my time and doing the electrical work for the rooms as a licensed electrician. Yeah, so the windows that are down were bought a number of years ago, will be installed as well under this scope of work.
Fred?
With the $3,500 deposit, I can certainly see the contractor's desire to be able to take and purchase materials, and so he gets the purchase of that material coming out of the $3,500. But do we have $3,500 worth of materials to be purchased? Because we already have the windows; those are going to be installed, so that's not a cost.
Looking at, let's say, quote number 2, there was a breakdown for labor and materials, and that individual listed materials right around the $3,100 mark. So
Although
Would you feel better, Fred, if it was 2,500 and 4,500, or?
of course, it's not a big contract, but typically on a construction contract, if we're paying for materials, it'd be materials stored on site so that if the contractor walked, we would have the materials if he walked away. Here, we're paying, the $3,500 the upfront money, typically you might ask that from a homeowner, where you might not be certain you're gonna get paid, but we're a municipality, and if we're not gonna pay our bills, we have some major problems. So I guess I have a little bit of a hang-up with regard to the $3,500 up front.
I can certainly speak with Mr. Johnson about that and see if he'd.
Why don't you come up with a figure, Fred, and we'll approve it by that.
Well, I think it might be a good idea if you have a list of materials to provide that. That might help.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to just throw $2,500 at him if it's not enough to pay for it. I
He
think,
said he had a $3,100 estimate for materials on
Right.
the second quote.
yeah, if you could provide that breakdown, that would be good.
Okay. Before we issue a check to begin with the material, you mean? I'll speak with the individual about this, and then see how he feels, but I would agree that, the town's good for the money, so I would think he'd be comfortable ordering it and getting reimbursed when the material's delivered.
So we got a motion for the 7,000, but we don't like the payment plan. Do we
Yeah, right.
move with it and then wait, subject to
Yeah,
get it in this year?
I'd go along with that.
We don't have a problem with the 7,000.
Right.
We have a problem with half down.
Exactly.
If I can make a suggestion, perhaps the chief can talk to the contractor, get a revised agreement with a materials list and an updated payment plan for final approval, if you folks want to go along with the approving of the 7,000 this evening.
And then before any payment would be issued.
Well, we
we'll
need a
circle back
signed
and make
agreement,
sure everything's
so
good.
nothing would be paid out until the board signed it.
One other comment on the width of the doors, it's a pretty small door for moving furniture stuff in. 2'8" is kind of small.
That'd be 32-inch doors, so we could certainly increase to 36s if you'd like. My vision was it's only going to be a couple desks and some upright storage cabinets that we have and filing cabinets.
Yeah. But if you're comfortable with it, I know it's 32 inches isn't clear, so
Okay.
Yeah.
it's up to you if you want to see it the price of a 210 door even or something. Just a recommendation.
We all good to vote on the 7,000, subject to the payment plan, so we can, okay it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. So you keep that. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, my understanding is that Northern Oak basically did the floors for us at cost.
Yes. Yeah, so I did submit, Mr. Lopez gave me the invoice the other day. I did submit that to be paid. It was at the $500 mark. And then that was for his material to do that section. And then he provided some standby coverage while he was there.
Yeah, I'd like to suggest that the board send him a letter of thanks, because I believe he had a guy working with him too, and he's using his professional equipment, his professional liability insurance, and
Yes. Agree.
You can get with Matt on that, John? Anything else, Matt?
So the last time I was here, I discussed the possible warrant article for the Tahoe. John provided some wording for it, and he came up with a couple different options. One included an escape clause on the lease, the other one did not. I reached out, the state did provide the contract pricing for this year, for the 2019 model year on the Tahoes. I spoke with the individual through the Nashua Chevy dealer who did end up getting the contract again. GM Financial would provide the municipal lease. Through that municipal lease, we would include all the upfitting, but moving forward in regards to the lease costs and how many years we want the lease, I'd look for some feedback from the board, what we'd be interested in getting into, so I can get the final numbers from them.
No way you can get another year out of the old girl.
We can certainly try,
Boy,
but we could be left
right, I don't want
without it, so. I know we discussed, I think, back in August, September about looking into a new one,
Right.
so it's the path I'm pursuing.
Go ahead, Andy.
yeah, I don't have any problem pursuing a new one where it's a warrant article. You know, it's what it is. People can vote for it or not, so I'm comfortable, and I don't know what your recommendation is on the lease.
I would look for a 3-year term, or 4-year maybe. Speaking with the individual about the escape clause, as he explained it to me, it was basically it would allow the town to get into the lease, and then if for some reason the funds weren't appropriated or the funds weren't available, the town could basically wash its hands of its obligation. GM would come take the vehicle, no harm, no foul to anybody. We just couldn't turn around and next year get a Ford if we wanted a Ford instead or something like that.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Isn't there a new, wasn't there an RSA done for, like, contracts have to be approved every year? So if you have a multi-year contract, they have to.
If all of the details are in the contract, like the warrant articles are done similar to the school teachers' contracts, as long as it's spelled out in the warrant, that suffices, so that those funds could be in the default budget going forward.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you don't have to vote on the funds every year.
You have to specify year 1, 2,
Right.
3, the total
It'll
cost.
still be in the budget, in the default.
Correct.
So now, Andy, will we be
I would-
adding number 13?
I guess I would make a motion that we add a warrant article with a 3-year lease on a replacement vehicle, a replacement command vehicle for the fire department, and I would prefer to see the language with the escape clause.
Second.
Second by Fred. I think that covers it. Any discussion, Cindy or Jeff?
Are you gonna be using any of the money from the capital improvement that you already have in there? Or the fire apparatus, or,
One of the thoughts I have is we might be able to use the apparatus reserve, capital reserve fund for, let's say, the first year's payment. And kind of buy the 2019, or use some money out of it to buy the price down a little bit, and kind of however the board feels, I'll pursue.
That's a reasonable suggestion.
Keep it as reasonable as possible.
Okay, so I'll think of proposing it with the first year's payment coming out of the apparatus reserve fund, and then, so that way, I guess on the warrant article, the language would show, year 1 would be from the fund, year 2 and 3 would be from taxation or what you will.
Okay. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Yep.
All in favor of Andy's motion?
Aye, aye.
Opposed? Thank you, unanimous.
Very good.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Citizens' comments?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second by Jeff, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. 6:15. Is that all right, Andy?